1955, when I was in second grade, I fell in love with my teacher's roll book. I did not think there could possibly be anything cooler in the world than standing up in front of a class, calling their names, and putting little checks in those squares. Fast forward to 1970. I had graduated from college, and I did know a little bit more about teaching than just putting the little checks in the block, because I had gotten my first teaching job. I was going to teach a classroom full of self-contained classroom of 8th graders in Federalsburg, Maryland, at Colonel Richardson Junior High School. They were mostly migrant children, which meant that their parents would move around to wherever the crops were ready to be harvested. But I left in my Volkswagen Bug, ready for my first job, my first day, with a smile on my face, and I drove through that countryside, and I saw those cows grazing in the fields, and I just loved everything. I rolled down my window and breathed in some of that country air. And finally, I was ready to walk into that school and get out my roll book. And I did. And I had lettered that thing just beautifully. And I called the first name, Preston Jackson. Yeah? Just say present, please. He snorted. And I went on with a smile on my face. Rufus Robbins. Yeah, oh, I mean present. The next name was Holly May. So I said, Holly May. And she said, my name ain't Holly, my name is Holy May. And the class sat up just a little bit straighter to see how I was going to react. But I played it cool. And I said, well, then Holy May it is. And I put a little line through that extra L. And my grade book was no longer perfect. But it didn't take me long to realize that their writing and reading skills were, let's say, minimal. But it was fine because I had some killer lessons ready to go. And I walked in every day with a smile on my face, and they were all slumped down in their seats, and I would start to teach. And I passed out paper, and I asked them to get out their pencils, when I heard Holy May saying, I got no pencil. And I said, that's okay, I have one. And I ain't taking no pencil from no white woman. And she sat there with her arms crossed, and I kept teaching. It wasn't long before I decided I needed to stop in and see the principal. I hadn't seen much of him, and I was a new teacher, and I wasn't doing all that well. So his door was closed, and I knocked on it timidly, and he didn't come to the door, but I could hear some racket inside, so I opened the door just a crack. And he said, shut that goddamn door. And I did. And I found out later that on the weekends, he was a wedding photographer, and he used his office as a dark room. Some of the seasoned teachers found out that I had cracked his door open. They were horrified. But I read as many books as I could about teaching, but a week or so later, I asked Preston if he would please fix up this garbled sentence. And he took scissors out of his desk, and he started jamming them into his head, and he said, I'm gonna kill myself, I'm gonna kill myself. Thank God for low bid school district scissors. There was only a dent. No blood at all, thank God, because the nurse had quit. A few days before Halloween, the art teacher quit. So we had to teach art to our own classrooms. And all I had was a stack of construction paper and those low bid scissors. So I asked Rufus if he would go back and grab a pile of the paper and bring it up from my supply closet. And then I noticed that he was taking an awful long time, and it looked like he was fiddling with his pants. So I went back and I smelled the pee before I saw it seeping into my construction paper. We did not have art that day. By then, my rides to work had taken on a whole new flavor. I desperately wanted to be one of those cows grazing in the field. I wanted to swish my tail and chew my cud and whatever else they did. My roll book had totally lost its charm. I had absolutely no regrets when I turned in my resignation on June 1st. 1 year down, 34 to go.